Your lock or natural hair journey is oh so rewarding, but can be extremely stressful when you start to consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no further. Locklicious is a Black-owned company that has created an all-natural product line for locked and loose natural crowns. The Locklicious team works hard to ensure that their products are free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, PEG, synthetics, and other toxic chemicals you find in other products. Best of all, the products are lightweight and will not leave residue or cause buildup. Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
All right. Shalom, 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 family. Peace to everybody coming in the building. I am your brother, Zion Lexx. You are on Zion Lexx TV. We are tuned in. We ready to get it in. Today, I have the honor of introducing and having present a very prestigious up-and-coming scholar in the Israelite community. She goes by the name of Naphtali Hulda. I want everyone to familiarize yourself with her and her work. And I would like everyone to endorse her where you agree. And definitely towards the end, if you have any questions about any area you may disagree, you can pose your questions there. But I just want to make something clear from the record. My introduction to her came via a video that I saw on the Dagger Squad channel. The Dagger Squad led by a guy with the name of a cat. I think he calls himself Garfield. Very interesting name, right? I came across the video, and the sister was doing an amazing job, even not knowing coming into the conversation that she would be dealing with so many multiple issues which were presented for her at a moment's notice without, having her be prepared. She still did very well. And I noticed that she didn't get a fair shake on that platform. So I reached out to her and I said, I'd love to interview you. I'd be honored to interview you and give you a fair and balanced opportunity to share your opinion. And we spoke behind the scenes earlier, and she warned me. She told me they call me the female Zion Lexx. I said, oh, sugar, honey, iced tea. So that must mean she is a beast, I'm guessing, when it comes to this work. So I have the honor, I have the privilege of introducing to everyone Sister Naphtali Hulda. Shalom to you, Akoti.
Shalom, Zion Lexx.
How are you?
Shalom to everybody out there. I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Thank you.
You're so very welcome. Before we go into the criteria at hand or the subject at hand, there's just some brief things I want to ask you. First and foremost, are you an Israelite?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, the Israelite community is a very interesting community. People want to know, what type of Israelite is she? She born again Christian? What type? You know what they're going to say. So in your own voice, in your own way, I hate to even ask you this question, but it seems to be relevant in the Israelite community today. What type of Israelite would you describe yourself as?
Oh, well, I really don't know what that means, what type. I guess I'm not Old Testament only. I believe in the whole Bible.
Okay.
So I just believe that we are the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of. I believe that to be a fact.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so I'm going to ask you now about your experience with the scriptures. How long about have you been reading the Bible with an Israelite understanding?
Yes, so I think that is a really good question. So I was born and raised a Christian. I was born in a Christian home. Probably not even about, I would say no more than 4 or 5 years. My husband stumbled across the IUIC, and he introduced it to me, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is us. I believe this. So I haven't been around for too long, but that's how long it's been. About 4 years, 5 years.
Okay, excellent. would you consider yourself a strong advocate for defending the Bible? Do you consider yourself a person who goes hard in the paint, as they say, when it comes to defending the Bible?
I think I do. I do describe myself as that. I study to show myself approved. I try to be a fisher of men. I try to get my information out there as best as I can, and kind of stubborn. So I try to get myself, get my. I'm not going to back down. So yeah, I try to get my truth out there.
All right, that's excellent. And I also want to say shout out to your husband. Shout out to you, Aki. You have an amazing woman here.
Thank
I always say to Israelites, because I do classes, so I always say to Israelites that one of the things that we lose sight of in the Israelite community, in my opinion, is how powerful the voice of our women are. And I am among those men that would love to see women using that gift that they have, that gift of speech, that gift of teaching. Women are some of the most amazing teachers in Israel, and it was like this from the beginning. The first woman, the Bible calls her Hawa, which we know as Eve, right? And most people say, well, Eve is just simply the mother of all living. But her name, Hawa, is related to the word to declare, as it is used in the book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 3, where it says, night unto night declares knowledge. The word used for declare in that passage is Eve's name in Hebrew, Hawa. So that's powerful. The very first woman, her name is centered around the idea of declaring wisdom. So when we speak of women as being the mother of all living, the first woman as being the mother of all living, that's not limited to the birthing stool. That also includes the power of the tongue, which the proverb says includes life as well as death. So they
Mm.
know that there's life in the power of our tongue. And it's also in that respect that Eve is rooted in the word which entails living or life. So we must remember that. Having said that, this is not my show. This is your show tonight.
Oh my gosh! Well, thank you.
So I want to ask you this first question. First question that I have for you is this. What are your thoughts on Sumer having any relationship to the biblical Hebrews, especially from the vantage point of history and whatever the Bible may connect?
Yeah. So my thoughts on that is that the children of Shem were Elam, Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, according to Genesis 10:22. And it's ironically the names of the civilizations located in Mesopotamia. So the one thing that it's always going through my mind was like, okay, we know that these are the children of Shem and they're located in the land of Shinar or Mesopotamia. But the people that are missing from the Bible are the Sumerians, and the people that are missing are it's the actual house of Shem. So I started my journey on just looking into it, investigating to see if there's anything out there resembling that, and I actually came across Arnold Pobel's hypothesis on it. So that's how I got into
Ex-
it.
Excellent. For those who may not know, Arnold Pobel is a linguistic scholar, and the journal that she's referring to is a Semitic linguistic journal, which is highly regarded and highly respected in the academic community. And the contents of which he published and shared went on to become, to this day, very controversial in some circles, but yet nonetheless highly academic. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank
The second question that I have for you is, what do you think at all could be problematic with making parallels between the Hebrews and the Sumerians? Is it all good to do that, or is it possible that that could have some bad implications? And I'll give you one example before you answer. Usually, when Hebrews make the comparison between the ancient Sumerians and the biblical Hebrews, you get silly people like Garfield Reed who say things like, Well, if you're embracing the Sumerians, if you're saying that you have relation with them, that means you did everything that they did. And that's not necessarily true, especially from an academic perspective. It's not necessarily true that because there's some kind of bloodline relationship that may exist between the Hebrews and who we call the Sumerians, that means that we shared all facets of Sumerian culture. That's not true. So that's a very foolish, silly, and unfounded premise for anyone to make, and very unacademic to be able to say publicly. But that's to be expected by some of these people in the community. Having said that, I ask you the direct question: do you find anything to be problematic at all to compare and contrast Hebrews and Sumerians?
That is a great question, and no, I don't find any problem with paralleling the two. Um, Even if there are issues that are within the past, that that just expresses the humanity of the of our ancestors. And like you said, it doesn't necessarily say that reflect on who we are as individuals. But the thing is that we know that our ancestors have had a history of, doing all sorts of things, and that's the reason why we're in our captivity. So it only, makes our case even stronger, because the thing is that over time we've always had issues with following the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. But that does not mean that we didn't have good times as well and
Okay.
did right by
Okay, I definitely enjoy that. What are, if any, what are any skill sets that you come into this dialogue possessing that a person completely unfamiliar with you would regard as, okay, she's into this, so I can see or give her a fair shake in this dialogue because she has this expertise or she has that expertise or she is deeply immersed in the study of these subjects. What skill sets do you bring to the conversation in comparing Sumer and Hebrews that is at all valid or authentic?
Well, by trade, I am a data analyst, uh, business analyst. So my job is to analyze data on a daily basis. So
Excellent.
I feel very confident. I am I know SQL. I know code, writing script, programmable SQL writing, and so I know how to munch data, data mining. If anybody's familiar, I'm in IT. So all day long is what I do. I love to go through. I'm very detail oriented, and I get paid to analyze data. That's what I do. So when I go in and I review the information that is provided by the linguist or the archaeologist or this, for instance, the Assyriologist Arnold Povell, I can go in and do my analysis on that because I've been trained to do that. That's my training.
Okay. Just another brief question. If
Mhm.
asked, if asked, are you the type of person that could be able to say, um, I actually study these things in real time, meaning I actually own some of the books on the topics? Do you personally own any books on these topics or have access to PDFs?
I do. I actually do have the PDF, and I can provide that to you once I share my screen. I have it right up here with me. And yeah, I do have the PDFs, and I do have books. I go through encyclopedias. I don't just go through, they a lot of what they were saying about me was the fact that I didn't have it, and making claims about me. But I've already notified him. I actually sent him a screenshot of the page that he was requesting, and I thought we had gotten past this back in October, maybe even September, but they still bring up the same, poor excuses and lies.
That's a fact. That's a fact. What I thought was interesting about the conversation that you had with Garfield was that, he asked you more than once if you own books on these topics. What I found funny about his question is that's usually what I say to Garfield when we dialogue. I'd say to Garfield, "Do you even have any books on the topic? You're not even reading the material." What I usually and routinely say to Garfield is Garfield tends to go on Google and Google those areas of study that he finds necessary to contend and debate, and then studies that and then comes and has a debate. So he's not the person that reads a book in its entirety, and you can tell by the way he talk. He's not articulate at all, and
Well,
readers tend to
yeah,
be articulate.
he's going to definitely notice that we're definitely going to see that he did not read this book, The Sumerian, because it's something I'm going to bring out. And like I said, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to provide you with the PDF and you can see it for yourself. I'll also have a presentation of it screenshotted, just for convenience, but I do have the PDF and I'm going to verify that. But he said a lot of claims about Kramer. He said a lot of claims about Arnold Pobel that were just entirely false. And I just want to say for the record that when I was invited onto his channel just recently the other day, I was not all the time, but I period. Sometimes I came onto his channel, and sometimes we had dialogues about various different topics. One of the last topics we had was about Darius the Mede. We had that conversation. So when he invited me on again, I was under the impression that we were going to be talking about the Dahomey Kingdom, and I had prepared a presentation for that. But I didn't have anything on. I have my notes, but I didn't have anything prepared specifically for the Sumerian dialogue, and I didn't even know it was happening. And so I guess he watched my video that I had did with Lex Vertex, and I had brought it up, and I guess that triggered him. But instead of saying, reaching out to me and just saying, "Hey, I would like to have a conversation with you about this. Do you have your notes? Are you prepared?" He just brought me onto the show, and the last time we talked, we were talking about the Dahomey, and that's why I was so shocked and looking at him like. And then he told me, "Oh, 2 minutes," and I was like, I don't have anything. I don't know what, it was really I was really surprised, and I was really really surprised and taken back about it. So,
I
and
totally agree. I
yeah.
even echo the sentiment of one of the comments that's live in the room right now. Bronx Bonner says that was the setup, sis. He wanted them to disrespect you the way they did because he was threatened by you. And I saw that. I saw that he was intimidated by your ability to source your information very well. That's something that I told you when we spoke offline. I told you that I noticed that immediately. I said the thing that I honed in on when I watched your video with him was your ability to well document and source what you were saying. And I said that that is what helped me to craft a genuine respect for your work and what I consider an honor to have you on this platform.
Oh
So
my gosh.
we're gonna get to the presentation part, but I'm in the habit of giving people their flowers while they could smell it. So I want to let it known to the Israelite community that this sister is definitely next in the community when it comes to presenting information. I would definitely say check her out. I would definitely say follow her YouTube channel. She is definitely going to plug all of her social media info that everyone can follow and endorse her on. And hopefully we can get the support that she deserves coming her way. With that being said, I just have about 2 more questions for you before you go into your presentation.
Yeah, no, you can ask as many questions as you like. It's no problem.
All right. The next question that I have for you is how well are you, as it were, in terms of understanding the language aspect of these arguments when it comes to Sumer and Hebrews? Because as you know, one of the focal points of Pobel's argument is linguistics, as well as Samuel Kramer Noah in his book, The Sumerians, right?
Hmm.
Which, by the way, Garfield is a very interesting guy because he said or claimed to have had this book, but brutally misquotes it. And I'm going to read that at the end of your presentation to
He does.
show.
He misquoted. That's what I was saying. He got up there and he's gonna make a fool of himself, and good, because that's what he deserves.
And tonight we're going to help to highlight how much of a fool he made of himself by blatantly misquoting this book, because he spoke of it enough to let me know that there were certain passages that he definitely read. And then he was reading a particular passage which showed me that he read the passage, but when he got to the end, he blatantly misconstrued what the author was saying. He tried to say that Samuel Noah Kramer dismissed the entire argument of there being a linguistic connection between the names Shem and Schumer. The last 3 pages of the book show that Kramer agrees with the argument.
Oh my God! Thank you. Oh my God!
When I
you.
listened to it, I said,
He's a joke. He's a joke. Like, he's a joke.
Yes.
He's a clown. I mean, he's a
Wow.
loser. Take that L. All of that.
Yes.
Especially for the way that he treated me, because, like you said, And then he's the reason why the argument is even brought out. He said that it was pretty much to oblivion, but he said, I'm going to make it known make sure that the world knows that uh what Arnold Pobel had brought out. So yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And for him to have done that so blatantly reminded me of the real problem that I have with him. Garfield hates me on a personal level because, as he admits, nothing he can do can defeat me as a debater. Garfield has done several videos where he says nobody could beat Zion Lexx in a debate. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I know Garfield can't. And one of the reasons why I know he can't is because he's continually intellectually dishonest. He'll say that things are recorded in a book a certain way, and you won't even find it in the book, period. He'll say that he read the book or a particular book, and when you hear him speak, it's clear he never read these books. So, one of the problems that I have with him and many others like him is how intellectually dishonest he is. If I could just show two more books for a moment.
Take your time. No, I have all night. When I tell you I won't leave until the last call or the last question.
All right. There's a book called Black Sumer, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Black Sumer. It's written by Hermel Hermstein, who first and foremost is a black guy, and Garfield and another interesting, weird guy. I forgot his name. Ngozi. There we go. They thought the author was white until one of their peers, shout out to Asar Imhotep, pointed out to them in their ignorance that the author of these two books is a black man. And Garfield said, when I brought up these two books, when I debated Ngozi, Garfield and Ngozi said the author of these two books are pseudo. Asar Imhotep, who is a true academician, and I don't agree with all of his premises, but to say he's not a true academic would be intellectually dishonest of myself, so I'm not going to do that. But he's a genuine academic. They regard his work as being much higher than all of their works. And he came and he put them in their place intellectually, and he said, no, you could never call this work pseudo. You could never call this work unacademic, because when we want to style something as academic, the first thing we're looking at is methodology. And he says, when you look at the methodology that this author employs to arrive at all of the areas of knowledge that he shares, you shows that his methodology was accurate and his conclusions were conclusive and consistent with the heading or tenet of his argument. So what I want to say to you, my sister, is welcome to the conscious, unconscious community where lying is okay so long as I could do so to defeat somebody. Lying is okay so long as I could mislead people because I'm trying to sell a couple tickets. I had to learn it the hard way. When I came into this community, I thought that people were really sincere and genuine. I had to learn the hard way that there's very few people like that. And with that,
that's what I was saying too, not to cut you off, Zion, but one thing I learned about coming into the truth is not about the truth. It's just not about it.
That's right. That's right. It's definitely not about it. And, it's never personal. It's scholarship. It's information. I always say the way you know if somebody is truly in pursuit of the truth, they go in the direction of wherever the truth takes them, even if it means leaving behind everything that they believed was true. In my opinion, that type of person is a true seeker of knowledge. I always say, if I was to ever find something that trumped all of the things that I currently believe, you wouldn't see any of this in my background. I'd throw it all in the garbage. And I mean that because I'm a pursuer of truth. And if I find something to be true or truer than that which I currently entertain, then naturally, in order for growth to occur, I have to leave behind the things that are inaccurate and embrace those things which are now truer. And that's how you really find out who is what they are in all of these communities. Where is the growth? Are these people able to drop bad ideas and grow with new ones? Or are they still pushing faulty ideas because there's an ego issue? With that being said, sister, I'm going to let the people know that tonight's presentation is about the connection between the Hebrews and the Sumerians of old. And we have our sister Naphtali Hulda, who is going to set it off for us. Ready or not, my sister, it's on you.
Thank you so much. I'm so gracious. And yes, so let me go ahead and begin to share my screen. Can you see
Okay.
my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Got you.
the first thing I want to show is that I do have the PDF. I'm waiting on my internet. I just scrolled up 385 pages. Just bear with me, guys. There it is. So right here, I have the PDF. Samuel Noah Kramer. So when Garfield said that I didn't have it, or I made it up, or I was trying to withhold it, or I don't know, anything that he can possibly fathom, I have the book. I mean, I have the PDF. So I just wanted to let everyone see that I do have it. And I've always had it. It's nothing new here. Okay. So after sharing that, I'm going to bring up my presentation. Are you able to see my presentation?
Your screen is shared, still showing the Sumerian PDF.
Oh,
Your
me.
presentation, with the way that StreamYard works, you just have to share it again. So just
Okay,
share
sure.
it again, and each time click on your presentation,
Okay,
and then I'll add it to the stream.
sounds good. Oops.
Yeah, I hate that StreamYard does that. They make it so difficult.
Yeah, I have a hard time sometimes. So just bear. I'm new to this, so guys, just bear with me with this sharing of the screen. So
Take your time. Take your time. In the meantime, family, make sure everybody's thumbing up the video and sharing the live. We want as many people to view this content as possible. How often do we get a sister in great class, with high knowledge, be able to present on this level? We'd like to use this particular moment in time as an opportunity to inspire other women to come out and say, you know what? The men can do it as well, but we got examples in the Bible that show that women could get this going too. So we're hoping to inspire the sisterhood in the community to be able to have a voice as well. With that being said, there you go.
okay, you can see it now.
Yes.
Awesome. So I titled my presentation "The Sumerian." So this is how I'm going to begin. So my initial argument was that of Arnold Peebles' hypothesis. So Arnold Poble's hypothesis, who was a world-renowned Sumerologist, and he hypothesized that Shem is identical to Schumer or Sumer linguistically speaking. So what does that mean? So the word Sumerian is actually an Akkadian word. Okay. So when he was hypothesizing this, he was wondering, why did the Akkadians name them the Sumerians? Because we know that that was not the name that the Sumerians called themselves. It sounds weird, but this was a name that was given by the Akkadians, which is a Semitic group of people. And this Sumerian word, or Schumer or Sumerian or Sumer word, was closer and resembling the word Shem. Also, they were on a search for, I think it was Kramer that said in his book that you can see all the other civilizations from the Bible within the Bible, but you don't see the Sumerians listed. So they were saying that maybe the Sumerians were the ones that were located were the Shem, excuse me. So here we go. So it was hypothesized that Arnold Poble's documented in the American Journal of Semitic Languages. Why is this important? If Poble's hypothesis turns out to be correct and Shem is identical with Schumer or Sumer, we must assume that the Hebrew authors of the Bible, or at least some of them, consider the Sumerians to have been the original ancestors of the Hebrew peoples, giving Hebrews historical valid validity. This is very important right here, because this gives us historical validity. So I have here, so why does Garfield and friends say that this theory is incorrect? Because if they were to say it is correct, then they will have to admit that the biblical patriarchs actually exist, putting an end to their evolutionary theory, which would be a major embarrassment for the advancement of science and Garfield's doctrine and his livelihood. So we can understand why there's the need of them to say they made this up. So I have here the a screen grab of the Encyclopedia of Hebrew Language and Linguistics. So there's something called Sumerian loanword. So I wanted to bring this out because a lot of the Sumerian loanwords are actually found in the Hebrew writing. Now, this particular encyclopedia, they say that the loanwords came from the Akkadian, and then pretty much some of the Sumerians took from the Akkadians and passed it down to the Hebrews. But the thing is that we're going to see that that actually is not true. We're going to see that there are actually words that are some of the Hebrews do have from the Sumerian. So I'm going to make this bigger. Oh, so this is actually a page from the legacy from the PDF that I had from the Sumerian from Samuel Noah Kramer. So right here, I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see. This was on page 297. And this was the argument. So it says here, interestingly enough, a solution to this rather puzzling enigma was suggested over a quarter of a century ago by my teacher and colleague, Arnold Pobel. So Garfield had told me that the reason why I guess Josh agreed with me was because he felt that if Kramer said it, then it's all good. But I guess if Pobel said it, then it's not. But that doesn't make any sense because Arnold Pobel was Samuel Noah Kramer's teacher. So it says here, Pobel, so it says, in the form of a brief comment in an article published in the American Journal of Semitic Languages. We have it dated 1941, pages 20 to 26. It says, Pobel's suggestions have found no responsive echo among Orientalists. So Garfield said that, and he says, and it seemed to have been regulated to scholarly oblivion. So he's trying to say, like, nobody believe it. But right here, he said, it is my conviction. This is Kramer speaking, saying, it is my conviction. However, that it will stand the test of time and in due course be recognized as a significant contribution to the Hebrew-Sumerian interconnection. So right there, that just proves what Garfield said absolutely wrong because he was trying to say Kramer was talking against it. But the thing is how can Kramer talk against something that he said it was his conviction to bring to the forefront? Okay,
That's a fact. That's a fact. The moment he said that during your dialogue, I immediately picked up on it. And that's why I said he's a very disingenuous person, because clearly Kramer goes on to say that this is his position, but then he still says that generally speaking, what Pobel is positing actually is the consensus right standard. So again, continue doing what you're doing, sister.
Thank you so much, Zion. Thank you. So he says, before evaluating Pobel's explanation, however, the reader will have to bear in mind a rather curious but well-founded and generally accepted Sumerian phonetic law, which is essential to an intelligent approach to the problems evolved. This law, to the formulation of which marked a milestone in the study of the Sumerian language, may be stated as follows. Sumerian final consonants were admissible and were not pronounced in speech unless followed by the grammatical particle beginning with or consisting of a vowel. Thus, for example, the Sumerian word for field, ashag, was pronounced asha without the final G. But when this same word appeared in the Sumerian complex of shaga in the field, in which the A is grammatical element equated to the English. So this was just this was the whole page. This was the whole page. So again, this was it blown up a little bit. So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to get into, I'm going to get more into the breakdown of that with the way that he broke down the Sumerian. But before I do that, I'm going to bring out who Samuel Noah Kramer is. So Samuel Noah Kramer was one of the world's leading Assyriologists. Okay, so right here we have that, we know that he was one of the world leaders in Assyriology. So if anyone want to make claims and say that he's not relevant, we see right here he's one of the world leading Assyriologists, and this was the book that we're reading is about him.
If you don't mind, could I contend and just make one point towards that point? Could you go back?
Anytime you wanna come in, please do. Yes, go ahead.
Go back to that last screen.
Yeah.
When I first had this discussion with Garfield, I brought up Samuel Noah Kramer, and I noted that he is one of the foremost leading scholars and authorities on this topic. And Garfield said Zion Lexx is pseudo. Samuel Noah Kramer is not an authority at all. Zion just says anything. But I noticed that in the dialogue with you, he agreed that Samuel Noah Kramer is an authority, which again goes to show that Garfield is just a liar.
Yes, he is. So let's keep going. So this is the book. You already presented it, but this is a cover. I was just having it available for everyone. So this is the point that I say Kramer believes the Hebrews actually existed. So this is what Garfield had brought out. He said if Poble's hypothesis turns out to be correct, and Shem is identical with Sumer or Sumer, we must assume that the Hebrews, authors of the Bible, or at least some of them, consider the Sumerians to have been the original ancestors of Hebrews. Linguistically speaking, they could not have been more mistaken. Sumerian is an agglutinative tongue, and we're going to get into that, unrelated to the inflected Semitic family of languages of which Hebrew forms a part. So this is the what Garfield had brought out as if it was the smoking gun, because although linguistically speaking, Kramer did not agree with Arnold Poble, but that does not take away from the fact that we do have a Assyriologist such as Arnold Poble who does agree. So also, when we go down to page 299 of the PDF or the book, he says, but there may very well have been considerable Sumerian blood in Abraham's forefathers. So right there is letting us know that he believes that Abraham's forefathers actually existed and that they had Sumerian blood. Also, it says who lived for generations in Ur or some other Sumerian cities. As for the Sumerian culture and civilization, there is no reason to doubt that these Proto-Hebrews had absorbed and assimilated much of the Sumerian way of life. In brief, Sumerian Hebrew context may have well been more intimate than heretofore expected, and the law which went forth from Zion, Isaiah 2:2, may have not a few of its roots in the soil of. So right here, it lets us know that Kramer actually believes that the Hebrews actually existed. Now, does he believe in the linguistics of it? No, but he does believe that the Hebrews existed, and this is something that, unfortunately, Garfield was trying to make like he wasn't, like he didn't agree, and that right there lets you know that he didn't even read it, and he's just going based off of things that he Googled or just things that people sent to him.
That's a
So,
fact.
and I believe that he just get things sent to him too.
Oh, he does. It was brought out just last year that while Garfield was debating Brother Reggie on the topic of Oleana Equiano, that Garfield kept going into the bathroom to get information from Raborn. There's a whole video of that online. So what you're saying is absolutely true, and in fact, there's video receipts that this is what Garfield does. He has an entire team that helps him to present this information. Whenever you sit down with Garfield one-on-one on this topic, I mean, like, especially in person, you will lose him on this topic, which is why every time I've sat with him personally, he's always got embarrassed because he's not familiar with the topic to the point where he can have a discussion without books being present, which shows you that he just prepares to have the dialogue. And for the most part, other people are doing the work for him, but he himself does not do the work.
No, he does not. He has asked me actually to help him as well for his debate with Gorilla Hebrew. So he asked me for some information.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So I'm just gonna tell it all because at one point in time I, respected him as an individual person, but as right now I don't. So that's fine. So here we go. So this is page 298. And so it says here, so I was speaking on this Sumerian Law of Admissibility at first. So, so I brought this out. The equation of Shem and Schumer, however, represented two difficulties: the interchange of the vowels e and u, and the omission of the final er. Okay, so it says now the first of these present no difficulty at all. The cuneiform u is often becomes e in Hebrew. So what they're saying is that the what Kramer is saying, excuse me, is that the cuneiform uh, u often becomes the e in Hebrew. So we're looking at these two words, and he's letting us know that interchangeably, this u became an e. So therefore, this word was shum at one point in time. And that's something that I was bringing out. I was telling them that the word shum. So right here, we see particularly pertinent example is the Akkadian shumu, which means name, and the Hebrew shem. As for the second difficulty, the omission of the final er of Shumer in its Hebrew counterpart, shem, this can now be explained by applying the Sumerian law of admissibility of final consonants. But the word Shumer was pronounced shumi, or even more shum. The final I is a very short Shiwa-like vowel, and the Hebrews thus took it over from the Sumerian as Shem. So um, I guess he was trying to utilize these similarities within the language because, and this is what he brought out in the Journal of American Languages. So he was struck by the word's resemblance to the name Shem. And right here, he was applying the, excuse me, where is that? The omission of the, what is it? It was called, I'm looking for, applying the Sumerian Law of Admissibility to come up with how the Hebrew name and the Sumerian name, which was Akkadian, it actually looks exactly like what it looks like to me, but I'm not a linguistic, so I'm not going to, I'm not a linguist, so I'm not going to make it like it is, but I'm going to agree with Arnold Povell because it's very logical. I mean, it makes sense, and for them to come up with this makes absolute great sense to me. So this is page 292 of the Sumerian, and I also want to bring out more that this is what Kramer had said, and he says, however, there is more possible sources of Sumerian influence on the Bible, which is far more direct and immediate than just described. So he's letting us know that there is Sumerian influence on the Bible. And this is coming from Kramer. He said, in fact, it may well go back to Father Abraham himself. He says, most scholars agree that while the Abraham saga, as told in the Bible, contains much that is legendary and fanciful, it does have an important kernel of truth. So, right here, we have Kramer out of his mouth letting us know that the Bible has at least a kernel of truth, even though Garfield wanted to make it like it was no truth, including Abraham's birth in Ur of the Chaldees. So, right here, we have Kramer saying that Abraham's birth in the Ur of the Chaldees is truth. He says perhaps about 1700 BC, and his early life there with his family. Now, Ur was one of the most important cities of ancient Sumer. In fact, it was the capital of Sumer at three different periods in history. It has an impressive Eduba, I can't say that word, and in a joint of the British American excavations conducted there between the year 1922 and 1934. Quite a number of Sumerian literary documents have been found. Abraham and his forefathers may well have had some acquaintance with Sumerian literary products that had been copied or created in their hometown academy. So right here, he's speaking on as if Abraham and his family actually existed, which we know they did. But people like Garfield and his friends, they want to make it like this, like Kramer had no regard, nothing. He didn't believe in the patriarchs. That is just pseudo. That's not real. But right here, out of the source that they say is the world-renowned Assyriologist, and what Kramer says is authentic. But we have Kramer right here saying all of this. And he says right here, and by no means is it impossible that he and the members of his family brought some of the Sumerian lore and learning with them to Palestine, where they gradually became part of the traditions and sources utilized by the Hebrew men of letters in composing and redacting the books of the Bible. So right here, I'm gonna keep going. He says, "Be that as it may, here are a number of biblical parallels from the Sumerian literature, which unquestionably points to the traces of Sumerian influence." So he says, unquestionably points to the traces of Sumerian influence. So, what are those? He says the creation of the universe. The Sumerians, like the ancient Hebrews, thought that a primeval seed had existed prior to creation. He also said the creation of man. According to both the Hebrews and the Sumerians, they were convinced as having been fashioned of clay. So, right here is just a little snippet of the Kramer, pretty much letting us know that he does that scholars do admit that Abraham actually existed, and that there are a number of biblical parallels from the Sumerian literature, with unquestionably points to the traces of Sumerian influence. So right there we have that. Thank you, thank you. Yes, I'm bringing out the scholarship tonight. So
You sure are. In fact, I just want to remind the people that she is not just randomly holding up a picture from a book. I'm reading along in the actual book. The page she's on is page 292. That was the
yes,
page she was on, 292 in the book, The Sumerians, Their History, Culture, and Character. Continue, sister. You are killing it, and the audience is loving it.
thank you guys. Thank you all so much. And thank you so much, Zion Lexx, for allowing me to have this conversation, because someone did not want me to have it. He just wanted to embarrass me. So let me go ahead and pull this up, because this is page 298, and Zion Lexx can vouch for that. And I just, like I said, I showed you the PDF, but I just, for my presentation, I just took some little screenshots of it, just to make things easier. But again, I had read from this earlier. I actually had like a little snippet of it, but this is the actual full page of the Tobel and the equation of Shem and Schumer. So I just wanted to bring this out. So if anybody wanted to come back and reread this, they do have the whole full page about Tobel's hypothesis. And I just want to say for the record that Kramer did not agree with Pobel's hypothesis. I want to make sure that I make that clear. But he did say that he was going to make sure that it was brought out for all to see. And if over time people were able to prove it as true, he wasn't going to allow it to just disappear with time. So I just
Right.
wanted to share this.
If I can even add something to what you just said, Pobel doesn't agree with, Kramer doesn't agree with Pobel because of the linguistics, right?
Yes.
Because what Kramer cites in his book is that the Sumerian language is what they call an agglutinative language, right? It's where we have a series of morphemes that are joined together, and the lexical meanings can be confounded to people who are outside of what's called an agglutinative language. You're not going to really understand lexical meaning inside of an agglutinative language or an agglutinative speaker because of the way that the morphemes are joined in that type of a language. Having said that, he still, as you correctly stated, agreed with the overall position of Pobel, but as he honestly noted, in the area of linguistics, the fact that the Sumerian tongue is considered an agglutinative language, that could possibly be problematic. But overall, he agrees with the premise, but he thinks that what could be problematic about the premise is the fact that the Sumerian tongue is an agglutinative tongue and Hebrew or Semitic tongues are not. So I want to point that out because my area of specialty is linguistics. And the thing that I want the people to know is that the fact that Kramer makes that statement and points it out gives you what we call intellectual honesty. There's no reason for him to say that if he's just trying to push the agenda that the Hebrews and the Sumerians are basically the same, which is what he's doing. But the fact that he mentions and lets it be known that there is an area that could make this problematic goes to show you the transparency and goes to show you the objectivity and most importantly, the honesty. And those are the things that all scholars look at in order to rate a book as a genuinely academic work. We can't just look at the pros. We have to examine the cons. Sorry.
No, no, thank you so much. You said that very eloquently. Thank you so much for putting that together for me. Yes, that is exactly what's going on. He is showcasing his what he agrees with and what he disagrees with, and that's his right. But the thing is that it does not stand the way that Garfield and his friends were trying to impose, because right here we did see that he does believe that the Hebrews actually exist. He does believe that Abraham was a real person, that he was born in Ur of the Chaldeans, and we know the Chaldeans were from the line of Arphaxad. So right there, that just continues to give us validity. And shame on him for making himself look poor in that. So I'm going to bring up who Arnold Pobel is. He was a German Assyriologist who studied theology and classical philology. So Garfield wanted us to feel like Arnold Pobel was nobody. But when you see here, he has great achievement. He taught at Johns Hopkins University. He said Baltimore during 1911 through 1913, editing further Sumerian texts at the Pennsylvania Museum during 1912 to 1914. Among his important finds was discovering and translating the flood story of the Sumerian creation myth. So that is very prestigious right there. So this is not just no any old person that we're bringing out. We brought out two, but the one Kramer, who's one of the world leading Assyriologists, as well as Arnold Pobel. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knows, because Garfield was trying to say nobody agrees with him, or who is he? He's trying to downplay him, but that just showcases his ignorance in what he's talking about, and he shouldn't be utilized as a valid source, because as you see, everything that he's been saying has been proven wrong tonight. So again, I just provided some more information on Arnold Pobel and his achievement. So I'm not going to get into all of that, but I just provided it for more text basis. And I also have his selected work for those that wanted to go in and take a look at it to make sure that what I'm saying stands up. So again, this was the big thing here, and Zion Lexx actually broke it down for me already, because I went back to it because I wanted to talk about how he said it was an agglutinative tongue. So Zion, so you're really great in linguistics. So I would like for you to look at what I brought out, what I'm about to bring out, and let me know if it has any validity that I'm about to bring out. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So all right. So I have here from the Encyclopedia Britannica about agglutination. It's a grammatical process in which words are composed of sequence or morphemes. You had just explained all that for us, so there's no point in me going in deep into that. So we have examples of this language includes the Uralic languages such as Finnish, Estonian, and Hungarian. So these are examples of the uh, agglutinative languages. So we have Finnish, Estonian, and Hungarian. So, according to the World History Encyclopedia, it says the Sumerian language was spoken in southern Mesopotamia before the second millennium BCE and was the first language to be written in cuneiform script. It is an Icelandic language, meaning we know of no other language that relates to its ancestrally. Although there are some theories that Sumerian is a mere member of the Uralic languages, like Hungarianism and Finnish. So right here, we have a source that's letting us know that there are people that are at least theorizing that the Sumerian is a member of the Uralic languages, such as Hungarian. Okay. So the reason why I brought this out is because I'm going to go further. So we're going to speak on, so this is the Encyclopedia Britannica speaking on what the Uralic languages are. And again, we see Hungarian. And so again, within the Encyclopedia Britannica, I'm going to go here. So it says that uh, attempts to trace the genealogy of the Uralic languages to periods earlier than Proto-Uralic have been hampered by the great changes in attested languages, which preserve relatively few features and therefore provide little evidence upon which scholars may base meaningful claims for a distant relationship. Most commonly mentioned in this respect is putative connections with the Altaic language family, including Turkic and Mongolian. This hypothetical language group called Euro-Altaic is not considered by most scholars to be sound based, although the Uralic and the Indo-European languages are not generally thought to be related. More speculative studies have suggested a connection between them. So why am I bringing this out? Well, the reason why I'm bringing this out is because although Kramer had said that this language was a alternative language. However, we can trace. There are some scholars that are tracing this language to Finnish and Hungarian, which are Uralic languages, and then there are also more scholars that are tracing the Uralic to the Indo-European language. Is that making sense so far, Zion Lexx? Am I making that clear?
You're making that extremely clear. I like the fact that you included that in your presentation because I noticed that Garfield challenged the veracity of your translations. He said he asked you at one point. He said, "What's the definition? What's the Sumerian word for name?" And you said Shumu, and he said, "No, that's incorrect. It's Mu." First and foremost, that automatically let me know that you should have never had that conversation with Garfield. Why? Not because of any bias that I have for him, but simply because it's he makes such an easy deal out of saying things that are just not academically sound. Anyone who understands how linguistics works would automatically see a connection between the term shu mu and mu from two different languages, because what often happens when one language goes or morphs into another language, you can drop a consonant or you can add a consonant. So the fact that he says shumu isn't it, it's actually mu, lets you know that he definitely doesn't understand how linguistics works, which is why I said you definitely shouldn't even have had that conversation with him. Garfield is a self-proclaimed scholar. Let's all never forget this. His book is a testimony to it. His book has so many errors in it. He's a self-proclaimed scholar, and it shows in his work and it shows in the things that he says. But continue, sister. You are doing bravo.
Thank you so much. This means a lot to me, especially bringing this out because I worked so hard on this, and so I appreciate you at least giving me your ear on it. So it says, although the Uralic and Indo-European languages are generally not thought to be related, more speculative studies have suggested a connection between them. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing a pattern. So I'm drawing a pattern from the Uralic languages to the Indo-European languages, and then if I continue on, and I just wanted to also provide my sources because I know that there may be people that say, well, how old is that article? Well, right here, it's telling us that it's from 2016. So it's a relative, it has been updated over time. So this is nothing that is considered to be old. Okay. So when I get into the Indo-European language family, this is according to the Encyclopedia Britannica. It says languages spoken in most European areas of European settlements in much of Southwest and South Asia. The term Indo-Hittite. So right here, this is letting us know that this language is also going into the Semitic, and that's what I was trying to. I'm trying to branch a road between the Sumerian to the Semitic languages because Garfield kept telling me that the language was Semitic and that the Sumerian is, it's not a Semitic language; it's an isolate. But the thing is that there are scholars out there that are piecing it together, and that are investigating it. Now, it may not be the majority, but the thing is that just because the majority does not always rule in such cases. So right here, I'm showcasing what the Indo-European language family consists of. And then so right here, I'm going to go into Akkadian, and Akkadian is considered to be a fusional language with grammatical case. And like all Semitic languages, Akkadian uses systems of consonantal roots. The Kotepe text, which was written in Old Assyrian, include Hittite loan words and names. So right here, which constitutes the oldest record of any Indo-European language. So right here, we can see that the Akkadian is has Hittite loan words. So what I'm branching together is the fact that we can go from the Uralic languages and go all the way down to the Indo-European languages, and then go into the Akkadian languages, which is the Semitic languages. So right there, it lets us know that the Sumerian language could very well have had impact on the languages that we speak, of the Semitic languages that are out there. Even though Garfield was trying to make the claim that, oh, well, this language is not the same as the Sumerian and all of that. But right here, even though this may not be something that is respected by all linguists. But the thing is that it's out there, and there are people that do respect it, and it does have some validity and some claims because, like I said, I mentioned earlier that the Hebrew has loan words of Sumerian. So what that's showing is that the Sumerians very well could have their language could have branched out into the Semitic language family. How do you feel about that, Zion? Oh, did you hear me, Zion? Like, oh, he stepped away. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. So I'm going to continue on. All right. So right here, I wanted to also bring out this article here from the Encyclopedia Britannica, because what this is speaking on is Arnold Pobel as well. Because again, Garfield was trying to make it like Arnold Pobel was nobody to be of recognition. So when we look here, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, it says after Sumerian finally died out of living language towards the middle of the second millennium, it lingered on as a quote idiom of Babylonian religion to facilitate its artificial acquisitions by the priesthood. Grammatical lists and vocabularies were compiled, and numerous religious texts were provided with literal translations into Babylonian. This has facilitated the penetration of eulingual Sumerian texts, and Sumerian studies advanced greatly through the efforts of such scholars. So right here, they say the Sumerian studies advanced greatly through the efforts of such scholars. And right here, we have Arnold Pobel listed as one of the scholars that facilitated the penetration of these advances. So I just wanted to bring that out, for people who are still on the fence about Arnold Pobel. He is nobody to just smile, just to take lightly. He is somebody that is recognized and highly respected. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for right now. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I brought out. That's what I have to bring out tonight.
All right, excellent. We're going to close this latter half with me making some more points and asking if we take some calls. The first thing I want to say before we take any calls and get into the questions and answers is okay. There's like an echo. That might be. Is there anything in your background playing?
Me?
Yes.
I can just mute myself.
Okay. All right. One of the things that I wrote down, because I found myself continually interrupting your presentation. Your presentation was so scholastic and so academic, I started to feel bad that I'm interrupting. But because, I had so much that I wanted to say, I chimed in at times. But then I caught myself and I just started taking notes. So the notes that I took are questions that I wanted to pose and even statements I wanted to make. The first one is when Samuel Noah Kramer says in his book that there is a linguistic connection between the term Schumer and Shem, right? He says that the R is an admissible consonant in Akkadian cuneiform, which is absolutely true for anyone that studies Akkadian cuneiform. The R consonant is admissible, and what that means is we don't pronounce it. It has more ideographic meaning than it has phonetic meaning, right? Unless we add what's called the article to it, then you can get a phonetic sound. Then you'll get the R. But it on its own, it's never pronounced, which means they always read Schumer as Shum. And what he also points out is the U in Sumerian Akkadian lexicon is equivalent to the Hebrew E. So that's the reason why the Hebrews say Shem. But this was always read by the Akkadians, the people who coined the term Sumerian. It was always read by them in their native tongue as Shum. But the Hebrews pronounce it as Shem. Anyone who understands how linguistics works would find no argument here. which is why when Garfield tried to make an argument of that, I automatically had to sit back in my chair because once again, the scholarship that you bring to the table is too much for Garfield. He's simply not on your level, especially when it comes to this topic. You outclassed him, and that's why he went on his phone and started to call people in to jump you, because that's what happened. They wind up tag teaming and jumping you, and that was very horrible, needless to say. The second thing I wanted to point out is this. What a lot of people don't understand that definitely needs to be said is in understanding Father Abraham and the connection to Sumer, you had better understand history and, more important, chronology. So when we say as Hebrews that Abraham is a Sumerian, there's nothing wrong with saying that. But in comes a person like Garfield who's silly, and he's going to say, but how could Abraham be a Sumerian? Abraham, as far as the academians consider him, lives about 2000 BC. The Sumerian Empire is overtaken by the Akkadians in 2300 BC. That's 300 years before Abraham is even living. We no longer have a Sumerian population, which is stupid because the Akkadians didn't eradicate the Sumerians, they just defeated them. The same Sumerians were part of the Akkadian Empire. In fact, the Akkadian kings, their official title is King of Sumer and Akkad, all the way up to Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. I want everybody to do this, and this time, I'm going to share my screen. Watch this. And this is easy work. And I always tell people in the classes, when you're well studied, the work that you see Sister Naphtali doing, it's easy work. But you got to be well studied in order to do it. You got to be well studied in order to do it. But it's easy work once you're well studied. So here we go. And let me see if I could blow this up nice and big so everybody can see it. The official title, is that big enough? Okay. The official title of all of the Akkadian kings, they call themselves King of Sumer and Akkad. All the way up to the Babylonian king, Nebuchadnezzar, all the kings in future times would go on to call themselves the King of Sumer and Akkad. Why? Because the Sumerian culture did not die out when the Akkadians came on the throne. And the reason why the Sumerian culture did not die out when the Sumerians came on the throne is because Sumerian culture is an amalgamation of both Semitic and Sumerian culture, all fused in one. Which is why Samuel Noah Kramer rightfully points out in his book that all of the oldest names, place names in Sumer, Eridu, Akkad, they're all Semitic names. They are not agglutinative, i.e., they are not Sumerian. Which lets us know if the oldest place names in Sumer are all Semitic in origin, that means the oldest population in Sumer is Semitic in origin. And that's also the argument that Samuel Noah Kramer makes in his book, which is why he eventually is led to see that Abraham, in fact, does have a connection with Sumerians. The last thing that I wanted to note, and then I'll take some people calling in to ask you questions, because again, this is your show. I'm just stealing a little bit of the time to kind of emphasize things that you already said. But because it's your show, I'm going to turn it back over to you after this one last point. So on this last point, I'll say this. What a lot of people don't know is that Abraham lived in what's called the Neo-Sumerian Renaissance, also known as the Third Dynasty of Ur. And that's why we call Abraham a Sumerian. Because if anybody that studies that region knows, the people who conquered the Sumerians are Akkadians. But here is something to also consider. The original Sumerians, the Sumerian civilization and culture, is a cross between an early Semitic population known as the Ubaid people, Ubaid, and I know you know that because I heard you teach it. So I got to give you your props too. So that early culture is Semitic, and this is why the oldest place names in Sumer are all Semitic and not Sumerian. These are the people that preceded. So the Sumerian culture and civilization is a cross between what we call Sumerian and Semitic. That is what made up the overall Sumerian empire and civilization. Then they were conquered by a more dominant tribe in the north known as Akkad, which we call today the Akkadians. And the Akkadians did that in 2300 BC. Right after that, you have a people who are Indo-Aryan known as the Gutians. And the Gutians defeat the Akkadians, and now they rule in this region. And this is the first time that you have Euro-Asians ruling in this region. They're known as Indo-Aryans. They're called the Gutian people, Guttian, the Gutians. Right after the Gutians are ruling, and they only rule for about 100 years, the people of the region of Sumer and Akkad, they have a revolt and they retake the entire region. And at that time, they rename it the Third Dynasty of Ur. And then what ushers in is what is now known as the Neo-Sumerian Renaissance period. Abraham lived during a period where Sumerian culture was being revived, similar to what we call today in history the Harlem Renaissance. For anyone familiar with that, the jazz era of Harlem. The jazz era of Harlem, the Depression, the 1920s into the 1930s, that's also known as the Harlem Renaissance period, where the culture of Harlem is revisited and revived among the people of Harlem. So when we say that Abraham is a Sumerian, we are accurate when we say that from a standpoint of history, because he lives during what's called the Neo-Sumerian Empire. With that, sister, it's your show. I'm going to turn it right back over to you. And what I'm going to say now is, if there's anyone that would like to call in, please call in. I'm going to put the call-in number on the screen right now. And I'm going to ask the moderators to share that call-in number ASAP so we can have people call in. Let me just pull that number up. The number is 718. I'm going to type it in the chat room. Moderators, please save it and share it. 718-709-9859. And that's the number right there in the chat room. Moderators, please share that. Let me remove this and let's let the people call in. And I would love for them to, I'm going to ask for everyone who calls in, regardless if you agree or disagree, just make sure that you are respectful. I will not tolerate anybody even sounding like they are going to disrespect this sister. She is a married woman. She is a sister in Israel. She is a scholar, and we will protect her. In other words, it's going to be your ass if you come for her. But call in, family. Call in. The number is on the screen, 718-709. My apologies. Sorry. 718-709. My apologies. 9859. That's 709. My apologies, everybody. I have two numbers. I have a number for the show and I have a personal number. So this is the number for the show. 718-709-9859. That's 718-709-5859. Please call in. We'd love to hear what everybody has to say. I want to, while we have people potentially calling in, I want to say, sister, that you did an amazing job. I want to say that I'm impressed, but I can't say that, unfortunately, because you already impressed me with what I saw on Garfield's show.
Well, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I am so honored and elated right now. And I thank you so much for having me on and allowing me to bring this information out, because I know this information is just so much meat and so much food for our people. because for so long, everybody always says, "Well, there's no you. What proof do you have outside the Bible?" Well, we have proof that tangible proof. We do have scholars that do agree with us, and we do have evidence. So, and I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. And thank you so much, Jacolia Gems. Thank you so much. I
Oh
appreciate
yes, yes. On that note, we have Sister Eucolia Gems coming through tomorrow evening, and she coming through as well to drop some knowledge on ancient Sumer. So I got something up the sleeves for the community, boy. I'm bringing out the sisters, and I gotta say, sister, again, I don't know what gives you the drive because everyone has a different impetus, a different inspiration for what gives them drive to do whatever it is that they do. Some people it's family, their children, their loved ones. Some people it's their aspirations that they've had since childhood or where they see themselves in some distant time in the future. Whatever it is, that is the impetus and the driving force for what you are doing. I want to say to you and to your husband, continue to nurture that. You have a skill set, sister. It's not easy to present scholarly information. And you follow what's called the academic standard. Kudos to you on that, because there's a lot of people in the community, men and women alike, that call themselves scholars and don't do what you did tonight. So I want to applaud you. I want to give you your flowers while you can smell them. And I want to say to the family, look out for her because I'm going to be extending several more invites for her to have several different conversations on this platform. We are going to push for this sister and many more sisters to come out and speak their voice. Hallelujah.
Oh, yes. Hallelujah. And thank you so much. I would love to come back. I have so much information. When you say, what is my drive? My drive is I'm a truth seeker and I'm an independent researcher. I'm just all about the facts. Even if it doesn't support us as being Israelites, I just want to know what's true. I want to know what's right because at the end of the day,
Hold on. You got your first caller.
oh,
Caller, you on the air. I want you to, in a nice, loud voice, tell us your name, what city you're calling from, and then ask the sister the question or make the statement that you'd like to make.
My name is James. I'm calling from Texas, and I wanted to ask maybe a couple of questions. I don't want to be long-winded or anything, but I noticed on the link that you clicked, the wiki link that you clicked on the Sumerian and the Akkad, you didn't click on any of the pictures to show depict what the people looked like. They look to appear to be non-African. I wonder why did y'all skip over that part of the presentation? Also, okay. I wanted to know.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Let her answer that question first, and then we'll go on to a possible two. But let her answer that.
Okay, definitely. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can. Please do share your screen. While you're sharing your screen, let me also address the brother, and let me say this to you. Although I wasn't the one presenting today, I want to remind you that the sister presenting a source from Wikipedia, as you noted. So the Wikipedia article was written by Europeans. As you well know, brother, hold on. Let me put you on mute for a second. As you well know, brother, Europeans have a tendency to insert themselves into African history. They do it with Jesus of the Bible, where they want to make him white. They do it with the Egyptian kings and even the pantheon, the gods, the Neter, the Neteru. They do that all throughout African culture and civilization. They insert themselves. Oh, that's my phone speaking back to me. All right, let me say this. Sorry, that was my phone speaking back to me. So let me say to him simply, Europeans have a tendency to insert themselves into history, literally, where they, whitewash all of the black faces. So the fact that you can go on these articles and find European faces for African people says nothing about the content of the article. What it shows you is, once again, Europeans are always whitewashing black history. And now I'll have the sister address you. Go ahead, Akoti.
Yes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, you're up.
Okay, so I didn't present this portion yet, and I knew I was going to, so I'm glad you brought it out. So, all right. So, what I want to say is that usually when you see Roman art, the way they depict themselves in their statues and their art, this is a classical Roman statue, and we all know that this is how they particularly classify themselves. So this here is ancient Egypt. We see the blue eyes on this this Passover, and we see the Sumer with the blue eyes, and we see it also found in Peru. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is so this is a real Sumerian image of a Sumerian. Now there is a group of people right here. This is King Supalima. He was of the Hittite Empire. And if you look at his eyes, and they look exactly like the eyes on this image of the Sumerian. And the reason why I'm bringing that out is because there's a group of people that present themselves just like how the Romans classify themselves in their art, the same way that the Greeks classify themselves in their art, or the Egyptians. They all have a way that they present themselves. And so what I'm trying to showcase here is that these people here that they're trying to pass off as the Sumerians are indeed Hittites. And so if you look at the eyes, there we go. We can zoom in on the eyes there. They're blue. And this is a king of the Hittites, as well as here he is again. And this here is King Hadad from the palace of Tel Halef, Syria. And he was a Hittite, as well as his wife, as we see the eyes again. So what I'm trying to display is that, there's some foul play going on here, and they're trying to classify a group of people they were in that land, but the thing is that they were not that particular people. They were more of a Semitic people, or what we would call Hittites. As we see here, the Battle of Kadesh, this is an Egyptian. Um, this is on the walls of Egypt, and this is the Battle of Kadesh, sometimes called the First War, featured on the largest Egyptian chariots. And right here it says, and the Hittites. So right here you see how the Hittites are depicted on this image, as well as how the Egyptian is depicted. So the reason why I'm bringing this out is because they're showcasing these people as if they are Caucasian descent, but they're not the Sumerians. They're just the Hittites. And as you see here, this is a Hittite right here. And I was trying to bring that on Garfield's channel, but he was telling me no, no, no. And so, but we have real tangible evidence to support that. As you see, I have actual images of them, and I actually have them on the walls of the Egyptian. And the way that they classify themselves in their art is very similar to the way that they classify themselves in the Sumerian art. So one can only deduce is that they are the same exact people. The people that are real Sumerians are people that are Black. So I just hope that that brings some form of some information to you, and that people can go on and do some more investigation, as well as what we see on the walls of Assyrian with the Elamites. With the Elamites, they're of darker skin as well. And that proves that Shem is also Black, because the Elamites were Black. So I just hope that that gives some people some type of retrospect, or to take a look into some information that I'm presenting tonight. And that's all I have to say.
Are you in the comments, my sister?
I just see my screen. I'm just looking at my screen.
Yacolia says, I'm so proud to be a Black woman right now.
Oh my gosh, thank you I do this for the sisters. Like, I really do. Like, I do this, for, and I want to just, I don't know, but I just wanted to shout out how I got my start. And that's with the brothers of, I know they get a lot of backlash, but that's with FOPE. And I'm just so thankful for Nah and them, for allowing me as a woman to come on, because I got so many people, and Uriah, to give me an opportunity to come on and present some information for me to even be here. Because no one else wanted me to talk. Everybody kept telling me to be quiet.
Oh, Zoom messing up right now. What's going on, Zoom? What's going on, Zoom? Or StreamYard? What the hell does that sound? Is that a video? Do you have perhaps a video?
بحلول مارس إذا
Mute your mic for a moment. Let me see something.
وكالة فرانس نقلت عن المساحة العالمية أن الدكتور تسدد 700 ألف وفاة جديدة لجراء الوباء بحلول مارس المقبل. في حال استمرار الوضع كما هو، توقعت المنظمة ضغط مرتفع وشديد للغاية في وحدة العناية المركزة في 49 من ال 53 بلد أوروبي بداية
Y'all hearing this?
أو في دول أوروبا بشكل عام من الآن وحد بداية.
Hold on a moment, caller. Trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Where's this extra sound coming from?
طبعا في الوقت اللي بتتواصل فيه احتجاجات من عدة في أكثر من دولة ضد حكومتها فرض قيود جديدة
لاحتواء
تفشي فيروس كورونا. ببساطة شديدة الخبر ده معناه إيه؟ الخبر ده معناه إجراءات إغلاق بدرجات مختلفة، وفي نفس الوقت هذه الحكومات اللي بتتخذ
I don't know what the hell that is.
درجات الإغلاق الشعوب معترضة على الإغلاق، وطبعا الإغلاق طبعا بيؤدي لتدني مستوى الاقتصاد. اللي بيخرج في المظاهرة مش هو اللي عيان في المستشفى، مش هو اللي حاسس، لكن شايف إن الدولة بتاعته لازم تلاقي حل. بتحذر إنه لو بقي الوضع على ما هو عليه إنه ما اتطبقتش
This is very interesting right now.
الاحتراز الصحي والتباعد الاجتماعي قد تصل الوفيات في أوروبا ل 2.2 مليون شخص.
Okay, I guess he had left the stream for a second. Does anybody have anything they want to ask me while I'm on in the chat? Garfield, yeah, he failed miserably. You would be exactly like it just like something real creepy though, didn't it? Like it is kind of like something real creepy.
All right, what about now? Better?
Yes, I don't hear it anymore.
That was weird. I don't know what the hell that was. All right, but once again, you did an amazing job. I'm very proud of you. The community is very proud of you. You're able to represent with this information on such an extremely high level that this is why I say you deserve to be on, a more fair and balanced platform. We have another caller calling in. I'm going to take their call. Caller, you live on the air. Tell us your name, your city, and please address the sister with your question or a statement.
Peace, King. Peace, wisdom. How you doing? Peace, wisdom. This is Yahshua Libya now, the Naphtali Hebrew. Long time, big brother. Long time, teacher. Long time, Rabbi. Yes, sir. I want to let the sister know. Sister, you did an amazing job. Amazing job. Against, I think you should name yourself the real pseudo killer. And I want to say that Garfield has put these tactics time and time again. We love that brother, but scholarship is scholarship. We must check it at the front door when there's something wrong. He has been putting these schemes a long time. And just like the brother Zion Lexx said, he has history with Garfield, so he basically know his tactics. It's like growing up fighting your brother all your life. You're like, I know your tactics. Like, you can't beat me. I'm the big brother. It's like I know your style. And I want to say, Zion Lexx, this brother has really been cherry picking and, like you said, getting things off the internet and not really studying. I love the brother. I've debated Garfield several times. We debated on the hill. It's on this channel, all type of stuff. We done got it in for years. I'm the Naphtali Hebrew. I was one of those Hebrews repping African spiritual systems a long time ago. He's gotten a lot of work from me and educated himself and went and done further research and bettered it up. But sister, you showed that brother something and took him to waters that he wasn't prepared for. But I want to do this, sister, because he put a tactic on you, like the brother Zion Lexx pointed out. He saw it. A lot of people don't see these tactics, but brother Zion Lexx caught it. And I want to big up you, Robbie, for catching that. Now,
I'm gonna give you another one he did, Zion Lexx, and this is for your own personal records, on the record. Garfield did a video a while back ago. I already made a rebuttal video to him. Neither here nor there. I don't want to shut my page out. It's not the report or the video. But I want you to do something on your own time, Robbie, and wisdom. I want you to do this too. Garfield has a video up, and if you type in YouTube, Pit Boss, Brother Josh, Nazir Lee, it'll come right up. And if you go to the 2-hour time marker in 30 minutes, in that time marker, he lies on John, the book of John, the 5th chapter, verse 4. Lies on it. And I know you're not too with this, but this is going to show Brother Zion Lexx that this brother has been using his taxes and just he's going to get pseudo information and presenting it as if he studied it. So when you get this time, this brother actually talks about John 4 and how a diseased angel came into the pool. If you type in that, and you're going to be amazed about what this. I couldn't believe I couldn't believe it myself. I said that this man's serious. So when you go to that John, that 5 scripture in verse 4, he completely takes that away and completely replaces that with a whole different verse that's not found in any translation, and argues that point and argues that he's so dangerous. So, Brother Zion Lexx, for your own records, I would very appreciate that, bro. Please look it up. If you're gonna write it down or type it in YouTube right now, as soon as you type it in, it's Pit Boss. You know you familiar with Pit Boss. Everybody familiar with it,
right?
Bro Josh, BRO Josh, and then Nazarite or Nazir, Nazir Lee. 2 minutes and 30 seconds into that video. Start from there and look at what this brother does to the scriptures. Now, he quotes a scripture that's not even in the Bible. It's not in the New Testament at all. It's not even in John. And he claims he's dangerous. This is the tactic he used because he feels or he figures other people doesn't read as much as he does, which he's got it all wrong. So when you go and check the scripture that he quote, and he's adamant about how a diseased angel, how can people be healed by a diseased angel, and he argues this, and then when you go to the actual scripture he quotes, it says nothing about a diseased angel. And we're talking about in the New Testament the angel in the healing pool. I know what you familiar with what I'm talking about, wisdom?
Yeah,
angel in the healing pool.
I'm definitely familiar with what you're talking about, and
right. So
what I want to say real quick to you is, what I want to say real quick to you is, shout out to you. You know, I'm familiar with you. I definitely respect you. And Garfield, as you already know, and a lot of us know, Garfield is the type of person that when he debates the Bible, just before he does, he goes on YouTube, and if the topic is Nebuchadnezzar prophecy, Bible prophecy about Nebuchadnezzar, he'll type in Bible prophecy, Nebuchadnezzar debunked. In other words, he goes on Google, looks for Bible topics, and then types in the word debunked, and then steals and parrots all the information he finds there, and then presents it in a debate form as if it's his own unique findings, which is pseudo as hell. And the problem with that in part is what he doesn't realize, and I think he will never realize, because you just have to be a certain level of intelligence, and I think he doesn't have that all the way, and that's just me being real. What he doesn't realize is just because something is published on the internet doesn't make it academically sound, which is why whenever Garfield is in a debate with a true scholar, the first thing we do is attack his sources to show that his sources are pseudo.
Yes, and his methodology, because he has done it. He's so big on methodology.
Right.
But when you critique it and ask him to bring it to the forefront, what he'll do is do a smoke screen, a false flag operation to get you to somewhere else, to get you down the rabbit trail.
That's a fact.
You understand what I'm saying? And like you were saying, brother, those same things he type up, what he does is give those to Sinetta, and Sinetta then do a Hebrew in a hot seat day.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
Well, you know, when Garfield really lost me as a brother, when Garfield started doing lectures talking about Malcolm X as a homosexual and we got to stop praising him, that's when I lost him. Garfield is a disease, not to the Israelite community, not to the community, but to the conscious community. People like Garfield are a disease because they come into the community with an overall agenda of making themselves great at the cost and sacrifice of our culture, our history, and our narrative. As you saw on Black History, him featuring white scholars to debunk Black scholarship. If that's not the most disrespectful thing to do during Black History Month, I don't know what else is. But
and give much respect to the white scholars. Don't cut them off. Don't ask them to source any information they're presenting, but let a brother or sister come on. He's going to badger them, cut them off, and give me your source. Give me your source. But he'll let the white scholars go source free, uninterrupted.
That's
no
right.
Callers, no hard questions.
That's right. But hey, I don't mean to cut you. The sister's going to take a couple of more calls.
Yes, sir.
We got people coming, but I would love to have you on the show. So maybe you can contact me at zionlex@gmail.com so we could build at a later date as well.
Absolutely, King. And peace to the wisdom.
All right, and peace,
Shalom.
peace. Shalom. So, all right, sister. I'm gonna let you decide. You want to take more calls, or I think it's enough. You done did your work, but if you want to take more calls, I'll wait. It's up to you.
No, this is your show, so I'm here.
Hold on. Not the way you presented. I got to now co-sign everybody when they say that this sister, and I'm not gonna, you know what? She told me, she said they call me the female Zion Lexx. And you know what? That almost sounds like a compliment. And I say almost because
it is a compliment.
You are your own person. And you prove tonight you don't need my scholarship to stand. You stand on your own. You are you. Shout out to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I truly appreciate this. Like, I'm not going to just go into that, but I felt so disrespected a few days ago. And, because I know that my people are great people, and I'm not going to, hate on my people, but when we do right, we are on point. And I thank you so much, Zion Lexx, for reaching out to me and allowing me to have a safe space to present this information, because not only is this information imperative for me, but it's also imperative for my people. And that's all I want, is just to come out here and just to bring some information, to bring some truth, so and just to answer some questions. Guys, you can follow me on I'm on Facebook, Naphtali Israel, and I do have sources if you want. I have the PDF. I can email it to you guys if you want to read it for yourselves. The book was called The Sumerians by Samuel Noah Kramer. And it is very interesting. And thank you, Bronx Bomber. I am smiling. I'm very happy.
If the people would like to reach out to you, and just as a reminder to the brothers, she's a married woman. But for the people who'd like to reach out to you with scholastic questions of the such, how could people reach out to you on social media?
Well, my husband just put down my channel right there. It's Naphtali.
What's your husband's name in the chat? What's your husband's name in the chat?
Oh, well, he's under my name right there. So he's just under our channel. So he's just posting like as if he was me right now. So he wanted to make sure I plugged the channel. So my channel is Naphtali New School of Thought. I actually have two channels. My other channel is African Diaspora United in Christ. That's my other channel. So check me out. I have some good information on there. And my social media is Naphtali Israel on Facebook, and I am Naphtali Hoda on Instagram. So
excellent, sister. Excellent. We'd love to hear your husband's voice. I'm sure he has one as well. You guys have an open invitation to come on this platform and share. I hope one day that I have the opportunity to come on your platform and share as well.
Oh my gosh, please. Please. I would die.
Opening.
Oh my God. I've been watching you for years, like when you was on Sonetta's couch and stuff like that. I've been watching, I've learned a lot.
God is good, man. So I say to you, sister, shalom to you. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. continue amassing the knowledge, the information, and more important, putting it into practice, right? Because that's the difference between the Israelite community and a lot of these communities. These people just read, they don't practice what they preach and out here teaching. And that's why our numbers are staggering. That's why you see so many entertainers grafting towards the Israelite movement and organization, because they see us living the things that we're teaching and speaking. A lot of people can't say that. In fact, I might have to talk about a guy in the conscious community that calls himself Shaka Amos,
Okay.
who was alleged to have a rape allegation out there. It's brought to my attention. People want me to talk about it, but I said that I don't want to jump out the window and just rush to talk about it, and without having the facts presented from the actual person. So the sister in question, who says that Shaka Amos raped her as a young girl at 14 years old, I'm supposed to be getting in contact with her. If she responds, then I'll be doing that this week. With that being said, sister, you did an amazing job. Shout out to you. Shout out to your husband. All praises to the Almighty, to the Creator. Much love, family. Thank you for tuning in. To everybody in the building, do not leave without thumbing up the video. Show your love. Also, sister, how could we support you? Can your husband drop you a Cash App in the
Oh my gosh.
Yes, please.
Just stepped away. But my cash, babe, can you drop the Cash App in there? Or you want to give me my phone? Well,
Let's get that information out there, because one thing I know as a person who does scholastic information, it's not easy to build, a nice, library in your home. These books aren't cheap, and then the type of books we going out and get, they ain't cheap at all. So if the family would like to help her to do what it is that she's doing, then let's support her also financially. Let's not just throw fire emojis and clap like we Christians. Let's bring those finances out and support her in real time so that she can build her channel and build her information. So as her Cash App is dropped, guys, I'm going to ask everyone to patron her. I also will be sending you a nice donation this evening as well.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what, Zion, like
it's
you have
just
been so amazing to me.
That's how we support. If your husband puts your Cash App in, we expect that everybody is going to show some support. Everybody. People leaving, even though we saying everybody. That's how we support.
And anytime, you want me to come on just to support or just to hang out or anything, I just dropped it in there. Anytime you want me to come on or just come by, I would be honored. I'm always, any topic, anything, I would just love to come on, and I would love for you guys to come on over to my channel. I have some information that I bring out. I'm considered to be a little controversial, but sometimes new information can be that way.
We need controversy. Controversy is how we grow. I'm no stranger to that. Controversy is how we grow. By the way, for some reason, we don't see your Cash App posted. Do you know your Cash App by name, or is it a number?
Oh, it's not in there. I thought I put it in there. Let me see.
And we also have our sister Yakolia asking if you have a Zelle or PayPal to post that as well. While you're looking for that, let's hear from our sponsors. Shalom, shalom.
If you want to have a better view on how the Bible looks at women in its proper context, then you should get these two books. Matriarchs of the Covenant, written by Abdil Ben Levi, popularly known as Zion Lexx. This is a masterpiece.
Okay, I put it in that time. It's the ADUIC 777.
All right, let me find it and highlight it. There we go. Family, that's her Cash App. I'm going to ask everybody to send a sister a donation. I'm going to send you something right now. Where are you? And you don't got to tell them how much I sent you. But when you get my donation, just let me know that you got it. I'm gonna put it up right now, and boom, I got you. Okay.
And the
This is
sale.
you get it. And to everybody that's here, family, this is how we support each other. We always talk in the Israelite community about wanting to
Oh
support.
my gosh.
God is good, sister. God is good.
Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh. I just feel the love in this
Good.
room. Like, oh my gosh. Like I have to come back. I have to do something else. I just have
This is how we support one another. We don't have to go outside of our own paradigm to make things happen. That's something the Israelite community seriously needs to learn. A lot of times in the Israelite community, we huddle to go on other channels because that's where all the controversy is. But we seldomly consider that if we took that same energy to build up our own platforms, that we would have a stronger narrative in our community for our agenda and for the things that we teach, right? Building begins with community. And I am always a person who is about community and supporting the community. So, you have my support, sister. You have my undying support. And I'm asking everybody here present, send the sister something. Nothing is too small. Send her something. Don't send it to me. Send it to her.
oh
Send it
my
to her. Her Cash App is on the screen right now, family. If you guys enjoyed what she shared, support by hitting her Cash App. While we waiting for y'all to show y'all support, I'm gonna hit y'all with another commercial. Bang.
Starting your lock or natural hair journey is oh so rewarding, but can be extremely stressful when you start to consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no further. Locklicious is a black-owned company that has created an all-natural product line for locked and loose natural crowns. The Locklicious team works hard to ensure that their products are free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, PEG, synthetics, and other toxic chemicals you find in other products. Best of all, the products are lightweight and will not leave residue or cause buildup. Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
All right. So I'm gonna let you have some closing words.
Oh my gosh, you guys have just been blessing me. I mean, oh my God, like
Great. That's how we do it,
you
folks.
have me crying over here. Like, I'm just, oh my God. Thank you guys so much.
That's how we do it over here, sister. That's called love. That's called love. And this is what we do for the people that we respect, that we cherish, that we honor. You have a contribution that's viable. You have a contribution that we all can glean from. Elders, grown folk, young folk, all of us alike can learn from. Don't forget, there's people in the chat room still asking if you got PayPal. So you getting people saying, yo, put your numbers out there.
Can
So
you
we
guys
yeah.
send me a private message from my PayPal? It's my private information.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
I don't have a
That's
PayPal
okay.
that's not with my real name and stuff. So if you guys send it to me, I'll if you guys friend me Facebook on Facebook I'm Naphtali Israel, and just send me a message and I'll gladly give it to you guys. But I thank you all so much. Like I'm telling you, I just had like 2 days that were not, after the situation, but I thank you guys so much. You just uplifted my spirit, and you definitely have made my night, guys. Thank you so much, Zion Lexx. Thank you so much,
You're
guys.
so welcome. And I wouldn't be a comedian if I didn't throw this out there. And while y'all at it, go ahead and throw me something in that goddamn Cash App.
Oh my gosh.
But again,
I gotta come back. I gotta come back, and I gotta do it again, but I gotta do it bigger and better. So, guys, and I wanna work under you. I wanna learn because you have so much to share. So I just want to I want to
Okay.
learn so much. I want to learn too. I just don't. I'm not just a teacher. I'm also a learner. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Zipporah. Thank you, Kodak. Thank you, everybody out there. Thank you all so much.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do for you. One of my sisters, one of my friends, she's a teacher. We call her Mora Shoshana. She's gonna collect the PayPal for you, and then we're gonna get your direct information from you so that we can get everybody to send it directly to you. All right, so she's gonna send that link for you. I'll have her directly contact you. She's my friend, so I'm gonna have her share connection with you on Facebook, and she's gonna gather everyone to make sure that we show you support in real time. This is something serious, y'all. Like, we have an opportunity to inspire the sisterhood in the community, something that is not really happening in Israel right now. So many people don't want to see the sisterhood speaking, and I think that that's part of the reason why the Israelite community has like this stunted growth, as it were, because we're not properly supporting the sisterhood. So with that being said, I definitely want to make sure that we inspire you so much that you actually, want to do this on a regular basis. With that being said, it's late, guys. She's a married woman, so she's gonna be retiring. So y'all got 30 seconds to really hit that cash up. Right?
Oh my God, Zion! Oh my God, you are the best. Guys. Oh my God, all of you guys out there are the best. Like, everybody who donated, everybody who came out just to hear me speak, everybody giving me a chance to lending your ear to me. I thank you all so much. I studied. I haven't even eaten anything. I've just been at my desk all day. I'll be at my desk every day just looking and researching, because I just want to make sure I give out real tangible information that cannot be disputed. And I just want to make sure that we can pass this on to each other and pass this on, because I'm so tired of people saying that we are not the people, that we are not, and we are. And you guys deserve all the information to support that, to uplift yourselves, because it's a person out there that wants to tell you that you haven't achieved anything independently. And we have achieved so much.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact. And what's clear to me, and should be clear to everyone, is that you definitely have the support of your people. So again, I say to you and to your husband, because I know that this is a team effort.
It is.
What you guys are doing. You're doing a marvelous job. You're doing an amazing job. Hopefully we get to hear from your Ish, your husband, very soon, so that we can hear his voice and his contribution. With that being said, guys, it's getting late, so we're about to shut the room down. So those of you who would like to support her, please send something ASAP. If not, you can reach out to her, like she said, on social media. Do you have an email?
I do. I am naftalihoda@gmail.com. Send me any message. I prefer Messenger. That's my preferable preference. But if you don't have that, you can definitely hit me up on an email. If you go on my channel and watch my videos, I respond to every comment, unless it gets deleted. I've been having that issue a lot lately. A whole lot. A lot of my channel has kind of been under attack. That's why I have a separate another channel that I'm trying to push, because I've just been dealing with so much with this channel. So if your comment is deleted, just know that just send it again, or try to change the word, because I'll definitely want to read what you have to say, and your input means a lot.
Absolutely. So, in closing, I want to share some closing thoughts too. Israelites have a lot to say, so much so that it intimidates people who don't have anything qualitative to say. If we take a step back and just kind of observe what's happening right now in the so-called conscious community, everybody has like this enthusiasm for attacking the Bible. And where I come from, the way my mama used to put it, when everybody got an issue with you, it's not always because you're negative. It's because somebody envies the space that you occupy. The Bible is being attacked so much because people see how powerful it is. And because they reject it for whatever reasons that they have come to for why they have rejected it, they hate the fact that it's getting so much love. The people who attack the Bible, they hate when they hear that their favorite entertainer is now saying, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. The people who attack the Bible, they hate when they find out that the person that is of someone that they model themselves after is now saying that I am a Hebrew Israelite. It touches them. It hurts them. So I'm going to say, Israelites, keep speaking the word, keep hurting feelings. The Bible says, cry aloud and spare not. Every time they come for the Bible, make sure y'all come back, clap back, and make sure that they feel it. Pause. With that being said, guys, we are going to shut down. Thank you, my sister, for accepting my invite. I hope to have many more dialogues with you. I say to you, shalom. And with that, we out.
Starting your lock or natural hair journey is oh so rewarding, but can be extremely stressful when you start to consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no further. Locklicious is a Black-owned company that has created an all-natural product line for locked and loose natural crowns. The Locklicious team works hard to ensure that their products are free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, PEG, synthetics, and other toxic chemicals you find in other products. Best of all, the products are lightweight and will not leave residue or cause buildup. Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
I wash my natural hair and my face with the same product because natural hair care is easy. Natural skin care is easy.